I just demonstrated a relatively simple example. Let's look at another one. The second example is to solve a specific problem. The example goes like this. We have an order data. There is more order data. We hope to distinguish the order data over the years by channel. There are 3 channels. First, follow the channel, then generate the folder according to the year if they don't exist. After the year folder, one file is generated each month. This split a file into many monthly files and save them in different folder according to the groups. The implemented workflow is like this. The box here is our final result. The process is shown in the figure. So how is this done? We switch to the workflow. Take a look at the processing. This is the first version. As usual, first browse the data table. We mainly use a few columns in the data. For example, channel, order date. Mainly use these 2 columns. Then generate a monthly data file according to the year and month of the order. This is the detailed list we are about to process. Next, by extracting the year and month in the order date. Get new 2 columns. At the end of the data table, you can see the year and month columns. Then, the next step is to combine the 2 columns. Get a string of year and month. Finally, get the combined result. The next step is to implement a group loop. In a grouping loop, group by 3 categories: channel, year, month, respectively. Eventually, multiple folders will be generated separately. Channel folder, year folder. The last one is a file name. They are the columns we need to group. After execution, it is the same as before. Get some flow variables. First, look at the results. Group loop start node automatically create multiple flow variables. Obviously, the first flow variable is closely related to the file path. Just replace the internal double $sign with a slash. Then, delete the $signs at the beginning and end. The next step is generate a file path. For splicing into a path, we use slashes to splice the parts together. First, define a storage path. Then the next step will be the year and month. Splice together. The last piece is the suffix of the file. The suffix is preceded by the file name. Finally, generate a file path. Let's first see what our new file path looks like. After the new file path is generated, the flow variable in the first line is the string path we need to use. Now, is it possible to pass it directly to the next write node? Try it first, connect it to the write node after passing the stream variables. We execute once. Take a look at the newly created flow variable. The first line is the required file path flow variable. In this column filter node, remove unwanted columns. However, when preparing to execute the writer node, the node prompts an error and cannot execute. What is the reason for this? The reason is very simple, mainly because the file path flow variable we created is a string type. As you can see, here stands for string. This type of string variable is not compatible with writer nodes. Therefore, you need to convert the string type to the path type. I use the string to path node. Convert the flow variable type. This means that what I need to convert is the first one. Others do not need to be converted, just remove them. In the output option, it automatically adds a suffix after the original stream variable name. Finally, generate a new file path. Note that the type has changed here. Here P stands for path. This is the file path we need. We pass this path to the next writer node. At this point, the writer node can receive the stream variable. At the location character v, the flow variable can be easily selected. There are two ways to use flow variables. First, click the icon with the v character, select the flow variable. Of course, the flow variable can also be created here. Second, in the Flow Variables tab of the node, select the file path flow variable in the drop-down list. In sheet name, you can also select a flow variable. For example, choose a channel name variable as sheet name. After the configuration is complete, execute it again. Let's take a look first. The saved location is under the training folder. Switch to the training folder. Currently it is empty. After execution, look at the final result. Wait a moment. Execution is now complete. You can see all the result. 3 channels have folders. There are different years under each channel. Below each year is the monthly data file. This is the first version of the workflow. When we want to use and change it. First, we need to change the path where you want to save the file. Then select the column to be grouped. Finally, delete unwanted columns. We have to enter these nodes, change parameters manually. Here are 3 nodes that need to be modified.